all the code is up here on our the Redbit GitHub. So if you want to download it, and the presentation is available here, and you should be able to download from here too, if you want to download it. What I've done with the code is I've structured it into tags, so you'll see all the demos where I start everything, and all the commits are pretty descriptive. From setting up the media plugin all the way up to I added a license and a README. And the licenses, you can do whatever you want with it.
Are you going to share these on meetup.com?
Sure. Yeah, I could. Lori?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could just post it on that page as a comment.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I could do that.
Thank you.
Cool. All right.
Slides.
What was that?
Slides.
Yeah. These ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post it off. You could download these. It's the exact same slides. Pretty sure. Yeah, I haven't changed it. Okay. So, let's target to get this wrapped up by 8:10, 8:15. Big challenge because we got all of this stuff to build. Promise you it's doable. I won't get you out of here. But obviously nobody wants to go because it's exciting stuff. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into, so what we want to do is we want to put a record into table storage, and I selected table storage just because it was easier and it had everything there. You could put it in SQL or anything like that. So we could see the status of converting the images to medium sizes and different sizes and different resolutions. We're going to build this function over here that's going to get triggered by a storage queue. So it's going to listen on anything coming into this queue, and it's going to run, and it's going to create all these different size images. When those images are created, we're going to update the table, and then we're going to have another function just to see what the status is. So from the device, we're going to upload an image, and then we're just going to wait for the status to be completed, or the image processing to be completed. So that will go into here, and then this will just kind of kill the server and just keep doing that until it's done. And it'll literally do that. But we don't have to worry about it, so we don't have to scale it. Functions should just handle it for us. So it's not the best architecture, but we'll go into, I have demo 5 and demo 6 as to-dos, but those are not being done today, because I still haven't written them. All right. What was that?
They're beta.
Yeah, they're beta in my head right now. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is going to our core project, and we're going to create a few more classes. So we want to go into table storage and save some records. So we're going to create a table entity object. I'm just going to move these just because I like to. And you don't get fired if you do this, but I just frown upon it. So we're going to create an image entity. And this image entity inherits from table entity. This is part of storage table, Azure Storage Table. And essentially, all we're going to have is the original image URL. So you're familiar with that because we show it in the app as a message box. And then we're going to have other URLs for the small image, the medium image, and the extra small image. So then we're going to have Table Manager. So Table Manager works very similar to Blob Manager, where you have your connection string. We're going to have a table name. But instead of blob client and those things, we're going to have a cloud table client. I'm just going to add a using statement here. And we're going to have a cloud table. So we're going to have a helper method that's just going to add the original image. and we're just going to create an image entity and insert that record into table storage. And we're going to return the row key back to the application.
The connection string is to what?
To this table storage. So don't record my connection strings. I'll change it after you're done, so don't worry. This connection string basically allows us to connect to this on Azure. So we're going to save it into table storage in here. And you see right now we don't have the image table, but eventually we will.
You don't have it, so what it contains? Because it looks like it's a long line, yeah?
Oh yeah.
What you have besides? Is that like a standard Azure stuff or?
Yep, that's, I basically just grabbed it from here. Your access keys inside your, don't focus in. That's fine. So there's the key.
Oh,
there's, yeah, these are not,
yeah,
these are just keys, and you just copy here, click copy, and paste it in, and that's the same string. So, and this class I created to access everything. Answer your question? Good. Okay, so we have our original image. Add our original image into table storage. Send a table, create an image entity. We also have a helper method to update the record. We'll get into that as we go in. Now we want to update here to add our record. So I'm gonna write this. And here in our function, we're going to still, in Blob Manager, we're going to add the original image. And then we're going to add the original image record, add the URL that gets sent back. We're going to add it into table storage. Here we want our upload response. We want to send back an ID. So we're just going to generate the property. And it will go out and it will just create that property for us. And the way I do that is just Control Dot within Visual Studio and you get that pop-up. So now if we run this, should be good. I should be able to take another picture from my phone. Now I'll take a picture of this. It's going to upload to server, triggered, done. And now if we go into our table, we have our image table here, and this is where we're going to store all kind of our URLs that we're going to send back. And once everything's processed, we're going to update this table. So great, so now we have it into our table. We have our original image, things are going back and forth, and we're going to create a function to process that image that we just uploaded. So we're going to call this one image processing function. So this is what I was talking about. When you do a new Azure function from here, these are all the different triggers that you have. So you have HTTP trigger, timer trigger, blob trigger, queue trigger. This is the GitHub webhook trigger, Cosmos DB trigger. So all these triggers that you can have. There's even an image resizer trigger, and this is what we based our original kind of fix for. So we actually did this for the customer, like I said. But what we're doing here is we're going to do a queue trigger, because we're basing it, this image resizer one gets triggered when blob storage is updated. So if you look at kind of our architecture, you could trigger this function when this is updated. But what I found is then we might have a kind of a race condition here where this will get updated. Something wasn't working right, but this is another architecture. You could kind of skip this, not put it into table storage. but we wanted to do it this way so we can upload, save to table storage, and then put the queue. There's different ways you could architect your application. So I'm going to select queue trigger, and I have to name this image processing queue. Image. C# is my first language, not English. Image processing queue, and the reason I have to be specific is because then things will break. So once we do that, we're going to replace the implementation with step 4 with this right here. So I'm going to leave this for now because in the table manager we need to add step 3. So in table manager we're going to add to just have a method that's going to add to queue. And when we add the original image, we want to add to queue, and that will trigger our function over here. Let me just add a using statement. I'm going to, just to show you how this works. So this is the original one out of the box. Take another picture. So what will happen here is it's going to trigger it, it's going to send it up. Our mobile device got the URL, but now because we put it in the queue, this is going to get triggered. So this will trigger this. In the queue, we're going to have just basically our image entity in there. So if you see there, we have our main image URL right here. And then all the other ones are nulls. So now that we have that, now we could build this image processor. So image processor, we use a NuGet package called image resizer. So I'm just going to add that package right here. And I'm going to install it to our function. So this image resizer, squiggly should go away. So image resizer essentially allows us to, exactly as it says, resize images. So we've set some dictionary here of the sizes that we want. We have an enum. This essentially is taken from the image resizer kind of template that's there. But we've modified it a bit, A, to listen on a queue, and B, to send it to Blob Manager. We want to upload these images. I'll show you here. Basically, we want to upload all these images up here from our function. And then once those images are uploaded, we want to put it into table storage. So that is what happens here. So I'm going to go into Blob Manager and just change the implementation. So I added a few helper methods here. Add extra small image, add small image, medium image, and it's just going to update, add it to its own containers within Azure. So what we also do is we want to get the original image because we need to get the byte array and set a memory stream and build the image and then grab that URL after we upload it. So similar to what we're doing with the original image, we're doing it in here. And then we want to update the record, and then we know that we'll update our table storage. I'll run this. Should work. So grab picture. This should all get triggered. We get a response back. Image processing function succeeded, so our queue got triggered. And then if we go back into here, you'll see we have all our images. So if we go into original image, 23, where is it? Here it is. That's the one we uploaded right there. But if we go into here, we now have a very small image size, which is the same one. Now, if you notice from the original image, we have, so about 300K. And then if you go to the extra small, you're down to 7K. So imagine downloading all that data. You get less data to downloading depending on what type of device you have. And medium image, and those have the same ones at the different resolutions that we've set. So cool. So now we want to go in and we want to build another function to see when our process is done. So that's this function right here. So basically the apps will ask, hey, is it done, is it done, is it done? And we will go back and give them the appropriate response. So we will go and build another function. And this one is going to be called image processing status function. It's going to be on the HTTP trigger because we're just going to do a get. And I'm going to replace this one with skipping a few here. So here we're going to also add into table manager. We've got to add a kind of a helper method. So this helper method will basically go into table storage, depending on the ID you send, and try to find that record. If it notices that all the URLs are available, it's going to send you the appropriate response. If it's not available, it's just going to send you the ID with the image URL. If it is available, we need to update our class here, and 7. Right here we have our images, and we're just basically sending back our original image size, extra small, small, and medium. Why we leave this here is for backwards compatibility, because you notice we haven't updated our mobile app yet, so we leave it's still using the URL property. So you want to leave that there. So those are things you kind of want to think about as you're updating your app and you're sharing code. Make sure you don't break backwards compatibility. So we leave that there. And then our squiggly should be gone here. So we're good to go. And now let's just go in and we're going to update our Xamarin application. I'm going to set this as startup. Minimize these. And now here we're going to add a function just to wait till processing complete. And this will just constantly just call it, wait till processing complete, and I believe we gotta update our snap picture. And demo. Yep. So this is where we go on up twice. So we upload to Blob. So still doing the same thing, upload to the server. And here we're just calling wait till processing is complete. We need to update our image, upload image, kind of to send back ID. If you remember, we already updated our function to have this property, so now we automatically get it in our mobile app when we're ready to upgrade it. And wait till processing is complete, it's just going to call itself recursively. It's going to kill the server. So I'm going to run this. Make sure I did everything. So the mobile app is almost running. Going to debug our function. Okay, so that's up and running. And then keep an eye on the console here. And then up here it's going to say processing. I'll take a picture of the door. So uploading to server, waiting for processing, and it's just calling the server as many times. So imagine you app blows up, you get 1 million devices, you're going to kill your server. But it's going to automatically scale. It'll do its thing. Here you see it's actually done. So the image processor completed. Whoa. There's the new image and original image container. Okay, where's April 12th? Right here, so you see we almost got 0.5 meg in size. So that's the original, and then if you go to extra small, you have 8K in size. So a lot less to download. Queues, I haven't shown queues because we always miss it. So it's going to be hard to kind of get the data there, but there's your image processing queue. So this is what triggers your function. And then our image table, we now have our processed items. I believe it is this one here. Yeah, it should be this one. So now we have all the URLs that we sent back to the mobile app and saying, here's all your images that you could download. So that accomplishes code sharing, not sharing your access keys to potentially millions of people, and we built all this in, I think, a relatively short amount of time. But to prepare for this demo didn't take that. It took like a week to get through all this. I got lots of notes here.
For iOS, there are any differences?
There are.
For iOS?
No, you just need a Mac. So if you want to run it on iOS,
Because I see you have a project there.
Yeah, set a startup. I can't run it because I don't have a Mac with me. But here you could set it on. Don't think it'll play on Mark's iPhone player. I don't know why it shows that. But you basically need the Mac to compile it, and it'll run.
But the code is the same?
The code is exactly the same. Yeah. So iOS has just their Xamarin Forms kind of startup code in App Delegate, where you have your init and load application. And this is similar to Android, where you have your init and load application. Android has a few extra things, but it's essentially the same thing.
For Windows, Universal Apps?
Windows, I'm pretty sure it does the same thing. You're going to have an init and load application, I think. Right. I haven't done it in a long time. Windows one. And that is that. So I'm going to show just a few more slides because I always like showing these. Because people think you can't build nice looking apps using Xamarin Forms. And I say you're wrong. So this is Upside. This is the one I was talking about where we had a few challenges. You could download it, you get points, you get Starbucks rewards or Starbucks dollars, gift cards, App Store gift cards, but no Android Store gift cards, which is strange. But this works on iOS and Android. This is the product. Swipe left or right if you like it. Probably swipe left on this one. don't think I would like that, and probably swipe left on this one because might as well just drink a bottle of wine. So this is where people were swiping left and right, and you get a lot of data coming in.
It's training beer.
What was that?
It's training beer.
Yeah. And that was for a market research company, so they did a lot of market research on products and everything. So it's a different way instead of just getting a picture on a piece of paper and seeing if you like it or not. This is another one where it's kind of the Uber for medical, but where so if you see some announcements with Lyft and Uber, this is a different company that's been around for about 20 years, and they do medical transportation, school transportation. Usually to a facility, like a cancer care center or something like that. So this is all Xamarin Forms. We got some code in there to put a little card to see what direction it's going. So that all kind of does work. It's pretty sure it's in production. This one is something I found out there, the Wisten.io. And basically what this person did is took an official iOS or Android app and rebuilt it using Xamarin Forms, kind of just from a UI perspective. I don't think he did the functionality, but that was Spotify. This one is Runkeeper. So the official one is on that side. I guess, what's that, left side? And the Xamarin Forms one is on the other side. So this is, it's not showing the thing, I'll put the laser. This is Xamarin Forms right here. And this is the official. And here's the Twitter one, official over here. And this is Xamarin Forms. A few links, you'll get these in the download. Definitely follow the top one because that's the most important one. But then the ones below that are pretty important too. So you definitely want, this is more for Xamarin Forms. Azure functions, there are some people on Twitter, I just don't have them yet. But I don't have I didn't include those here. And then some sites to keep kind of learning more and doing some more. Merge Conflict's good, the Xamarin Show is good. We regularly blog, which is usually me. And if you're using Xamarin Forms, definitely take a look at the roadmap because they're putting a lot of investment into it. And this is the program manager right here for Xamarin Forms. So definitely, and he wants your feedback, especially if you hate it or if you run into challenges. Xamarin University, if you want to continue learning, Xamarin University is a good way to go. I'm a certified developer, but this is kind of some of the best, I think, some of the best training out there that's available if you want to continue using Xamarin. We didn't do a lot of Xamarin, but Xamarin University does have some courses on Azure in there too. It comes with MSDN. It is about $100 if you don't have MSDN per month. I think it's worthwhile. If you're a C# developer, everybody wants a mobile app, so I would look into it. On-site training, if you're interested, talk to me. We can do official Xamarin University on-site training at your company. There's also group training, but we need to get enough people kind of involved, usually 20 people. And we can do some Xamarin University training. And that is it. And I'm 1 minute over, I think.
Performance-wise, that guy that converted a native to Xamarin.
Don't know. I didn't run it. I think it's good, or else he wouldn't have put it out there. But I don't know what the performance is on that one. Get out of here. I'm pretty sure I have. I think I have a website here. I don't know if it works. This might be a debug build or. There we go.
From your experience, a native compared to Xamarin or a React Native, they are comparable, like performance?
Yeah, there's been some kind of people doing studies on what's faster and what's slower. To me, it's good enough. So that loading screen was the data downloading. So that's why that took, can you see it? Yeah, you can see it there. So here you could kind of swipe left, right. So yeah, you have those nice transitions. We got a non-standard menu up here. Got our points up here. So yeah, you could get an iTunes gift card on an Android, or you could get an Amazon gift card. They actually give out gift cards. So that is it. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. I know it was a lot of code. I did get some feedback, and the last one I did, that there's just a lot. If it's a lot, let me know, and then I'll change it. Because I'm doing it again.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious from your experience with Xamarin and this, just that one situation with all the pinging in the server. You've done push notifications.
Yes.
So is that in the Xamarin Forms and the Azure, or do you find that you have to do that separately for?
Yeah, I think that's demo 6 that's to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But essentially change that to push notifications.
Yeah.
Or update it to push notifications. You could use Visual Studio App Center,
Okay.
or you could use push notifications from Azure. I recommend using App Center because it's a lot easier.
Okay.
And that's what we're kind of using for our application. Your audience, and you could send push notifications from the dashboard in App Center, or you could send it from your code.
Okay, so the App Center is kind of like Firebase?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, App Center is like Firebase,
Yes. Okay.
but obviously they're both good. Visual Studio App. And I mean, it's free.
Yeah.
So you get a bunch of stuff for free. I think if you want to segment your audience into more,
Mhm.
then you gotta pay more. But this is all the stuff you get for free. So we use this for testing, for distribution. We used to use Hockey app.
Mhm.
There's another one. I can't remember. But we use Hockey app, and now we're just migrating to everything to Visual Studio App Center.
Okay.
To do all the deployment and beta testing and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like a great tool.
It's fantastic. I love the price.
Yeah, I like the idea that it distributes it as well.
Yeah, you could do our enterprise kind of enterprise apps for iOS. We distribute through.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to mess around with things.
Yeah.
Just distribute. It sends a notification. There's a new update. They download,
Okay.
and nobody calls me.
The other solution provider of push notification you might want to mention is Azure Notification Hub, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Underneath the covers, it uses Azure Notification Hub.
Right.
It's just a lot easier to use in here.
Just curious, does it support a CSV upload? Like, of course we can do it on backend, but I'm just thinking, like in here, App Center or Notification Hub. Or you have to pay for it, like CSV upload. For example, you want to broadcast to a specific group of users.
Yeah, I think you could segment your audience.
But
Right
it's
here.
a lock feature, right? You need to pay for it.
I think so. I think you get 5 audience segments right here. Sorry, I'm probably blocking some people. 5 audience segments and push notifications there. If you need more than that, then you start paying $10 a month. But started in late 2018. It was probably 2019, I would say. They've been pretty good.
In the end, you were comparing the performance, like you said. Some people are doing research about performance. Do you mean like comparing Xamarin to native development or to hybrid, or like 3 of them?
To Swift and Objective-C. Yeah, there's one out there that a former Google engineer did, where he compared it. It's fairly old. I don't know if he's updated it lately.
Okay.
But essentially, in some instances, the Xamarin performed faster than Objective-C.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when doing like recursive loops or things like that.
Okay.
What was that?
Especially for development.
Objective-C.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
painful.
No, most people are changing to Swift.
Swift.
Yeah.
They want to stay as native as possible, but Xamarin compiles down to native code. So,
Sounds good. Yeah, like it's so different from like traditional hybrid concept we were talking about because those things are basically wrappers essentially.
Yeah.
Like Xamarin is not, it's like you said, compiled.
No, it compiles to
native
native
libraries.
code. Yeah, it compiles to native code. It's not a wrapper.
Right, but my concern is that will it, use the most recent like frameworks or SDKs provided by say Apple, like
Yep.
3D Touch or ARKit and those things?
Yeah, you could access all of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The first time when it's released, like say iOS 12,
It's usually day 0 they release it.
cool.
Yeah.
I think it's always been day 0. Yeah.
Like,
They're pretty quick. Android, I find it's usually a little bit longer. I think 2% of the population or Android users are on the latest Android. Everybody's still on 4 or something. Like 60% of the user base is on version 4. Or version 4 or 5, I don't know. But iOS, usually day 0, they have a update available, which is fantastic. Cool.
So you'd update your Visual Studios and everything's accessible through there.
Yep.
I see, yeah, you're...
Yeah, you update your
Switching.
Visual. You update your Visual
Okay.
Studio. If it's a Mac, you update your Xcode and all that stuff to compile for Mac.
So it runs through Xcode in the compiles?
No, it will. It needs the Mac to
Yeah.
compile the iOS
Yeah.
application, so you can't get away from that.
Yeah. Oh, well, like if you're just downloading Swift straight to your computer, then you would have,
Yeah. So we have Mac Minis
yeah,
sitting in the corner,
okay.
and we just update them.
Sure.
whenever we need to.
Yeah, sorry,
Um,
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure you still need Xcode, and you need all those things on there.
Mm.
And then Visual Studio will pick it up. The integration between Visual Studio and your Mac is
Mhm.
100 times better. So if you've never done it before, you're going to get a nice experience.
Mhm.
Whereas if you're old like me and you've done it for 6 years, yeah, you live through the pain.
Also, I find the easiest way is to just install Visual Studio for Mac. And then
Yes.
even if you're not using your Mac as the main development machine, it's easier just to open that up and say update, and then it'll update everything for you, like download everything for you and install it without even having to think.
Yeah,
And then just close it off. And
because we have enough thinking to do.
yeah,
We want-
that's all I do.
Yeah.
Visual Studio or Xamarin Studio?
It's called Visual Studio for Mac now.
Oh,
It's been,
okay.
it's moved, it was Xamarin Studio, then they rebranded it to Visual Studio for Mac, and it's actively under that.
Okay.
They're just adding more features to it, making it better, so it's pretty good, it's come along.
But yeah, it's fantastic. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you everyone.
Thanks, Mark, that was a great presentation.